to another episode of Entrepreneurs at Fuego. We're documenting the journey of amazing entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. With me, I have the distinct privilege of having Nick Mulholland, just like Mulholland Drive.
You got it.
How you doing, man?
Very good. How are you?
All right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No more salespeople.
No more salespeople consulting.
No more salespeople, because that's
Correct.
going to be the ultimate name for a company. What does no more salespeople do, other than the obvious?
No, for sure. No more salespeople consulting. I've been consulting in telecommunications for the past 9 years.
Yep.
And my company, Zoom Communications, you know, it's a nice name, but it's not memorable. And so I came up with the No More Salespeople Consulting because it's very disruptive.
Sure.
People remember it whether you like it or hate it. And it's not really a knock on salespeople. It's really more that when you're evaluating technology decisions, which is we consult in technology, it's you have one avenue, which is you want to go talk with and start a relationship with 30 to 40 different salespeople that potentially have something that is going to, that benefits your business. Or you want to work with an objective consultant that doesn't have a quota, that has been trained in all the various solutions that you might find online and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So those are your two options. And that's why it's our avenue is no more salespeople. Work with an expert, not a salesperson.
What type of industries utilize your services?
Sure, all of them. So we don't have any specific verticals. Every company needs to have phones and internet service. They need to have IT, they need to have infrastructure, all these things. A copy print.
Walk me through a specific example.
Sure.
Me as a client, what would I be looking for specifically from your company that I can benefit from your services?
Absolutely. So let's say that you want to buy a new phone system.
Okay.
So you're the business owner, you have 50 employees, you want to buy a phone system. You can go online and you can Google search it.
Right.
You might have had a salesperson that called you before, so you have their name.
Right.
Or you're going to ask a friend that's going to potentially refer you to somebody that they know that does phone systems or that maybe they bought a phone system from. So normally what we find is most companies require whoever is evaluating this have to meet with 3 different companies. They have to go get 3 different bids. Now, realistically, you can Google search hosted phones, but that doesn't mean that the correct company to actually do what you need you're going to find. For example, $75 per click for hosted phones. There's only certain companies that can even afford that type of budget.
Sure.
So the alternative is that you can work with someone like myself, which I'm an expert in telecommunications and phone systems.
Right.
I have 80 or so different phone system options that I've been trained on, can consult over. So I can offer an objective view of, well, you need XYZ functionality. Here's a list of the companies that make sense. Here's a list of all the other companies that we checked with and why they don't make sense, and then the scope of work of what we talked about that you need. So then every time that decision maker is meeting with an actual company, they're meeting with ones that they know can do what they want, that are cost competitive. So it streamlines any review because you start getting into medium to enterprise type companies. For that IT director to take 10 or 15 meetings with salespeople that are paid to tell you that their solution's the best isn't necessarily the best avenue.
And for you, how does No More Salespeople make its profit?
Sure.
Its revenue?
So we get paid instead of salespeople that work at the various providers. So as an example, the person from, let's say you're doing telecom, the person from CenturyLink that's a salesperson will get paid one time to sell you the service.
Correct.
And then essentially you're handed off to a customer care person, and that salesperson has to go get new business.
Right.
There's not really, depending on the size, there's not really an account managing situation. Alternatively, we're what's called an indirect sales channel. So once we've brought the business to CenturyLink, we make a percentage from CenturyLink paying us a portion of the bill of the service that we did.
So the customer really doesn't pay anything?
The customer pays absolutely nothing to us unless we do the consulting work for them, and then they take my price and they call CenturyLink directly and sign up. Then we have a consulting
Which I'm sure it's happened.
Unfortunately, it has happened. And that's the big difference is that, I was talking about those 2 avenues.
Right.
It's not a knock on salespeople by any means. It's that if you want to do it yourself and you think that it's worth it to go, recreate the wheel, and you don't see any value in myself that I do trainings with all these different companies that are trying to feed me the Kool-Aid to sell more of their service.
Absolutely.
I can objectively, I'm there to help them make the best, most informed decision.
But the other thing too is that that salesperson for that particular company, he or she, they're gone. And you don't see them again, whereas you're establishing a relationship that when you grow next time,
Yep.
they're going to go back to
Well, it's actually even better than that. So number one, because I've been in business for so long, we've built relationships over the past 9 years with telecom and phone vendors and IT companies. So if my customer, that again, I'm receiving a residual income off them paying their bills, if they have a problem, I am incentivized to make sure that it goes away. Otherwise, they might have so much of a problem that they're going to change and I lose my residual income.
That makes sense.
So I mean that from just an incentive, and then the other thing too is we consult on so many different services that you're absolutely right. We're looking for long-term relationships. I can help with telecom, phone system, copy print, IT services, cloud storage, and IT gets very, very technical very fast.
Right.
But if you're needing a phone system today, we want to do it right. We want to support it so that when you're evaluating something else, you're coming back to us. That's really our goal.
And where do you see the future of telecommunications going to? Because most of us, I mean, we're just working out of our cell phones.
Yeah.
And to create a network for 50 people, they probably just as soon have their company buy 50 cell phones and go, all right, here it is, company phone.
So, well, when you start, like I said, technology is very, very interesting. So going back, let's say 10 years when I got started, there was a very clear distinction between who your IT company was, who your phone vendor was, who your internet provider was, and who your copier company was.
Yeah.
Well, now it's a mixed match. You've got copier companies offering some IT services, you've got the telecom providers offering things, you've got phone vendors that are offering IT. So that's essentially what I've started to realize is that's really confusing. I am in this world. I can't imagine somebody that owns a construction company that has to have all this stuff. Who is he supposed to listen to and whatnot?
This is your world and you are confused inside.
I'm just saying that it's very complex. It's
Right.
not, when you have a good relationship with your copier company, that doesn't necessarily mean because they offer IT that they do a good job.
Right.
And in fact, a lot of companies, that's really the problem is that you might have used a company for a service, but now they're trying to sell you something new and they're really bad at it and you don't know. So that's where I've really, like I said, what our goal is there's this big group of all these technology services. We take a step back and we basically look at all of it, and we've been trained on all of it, and can objectively work with a decision maker to say, based upon the things that you're looking at, here's the correct solutions and options. And again, it's nothing different than we're empowering them to make the most informed decision without having to take a lot of unnecessary meetings. I mean, I can't tell you how many of our customers have met with, prior to talking to us, 5 to 10 companies that had no business being in there at all. And that's a waste of their time.
Sure. Of course. Prior to being in this business and creating NoMoreSalespeople.com, what did you do?
Well, I had Zoom Communications, so I was consulting in telecom. I actually started to work for myself at 23.
You've always been an entrepreneur.
So, yeah, pretty much.
What fuels your fire?
You know what? I just like doing the right thing every time. That's why I like being an objective consultant. My second job out of college was working for a telecom company.
Right.
And when I found out about this indirect sales channel, I made the decision right then and there that would I rather just work for one company that I may not necessarily have the right solution, but I've got to sell it because I got a quota and I got to hit it, or should I be an objective party that every single time I walk into the door, I can absolutely put my customer with the right solution.
Got it. As an entrepreneur, somebody that wants to get into your business or somebody that is considering becoming an entrepreneur,
Sure.
It's the idea of being an entrepreneur nowadays is so distorted. What's the best advice that you would give somebody?
No one's going to give it to you. I think that's the best. I was doing very, very well as a 23-year-old for a commercial telecom company. I was one of their top reps for the time that I was there. And when I moved over to start my own consulting, I did not realize what I was undertaking. Yeah, I was like, I work for myself. People are going to call me. That was a big error on my end. But, you're going to be, I think the most important thing you got to realize is that if you're not open to working pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, potentially, then being an entrepreneur might not be for you, because it might make more sense for you to just go take a 9 to 5.
Yep.
Where you can leave your work at work, leave work at work and walk away, because I can tell you, I'm up a lot of times at night till midnight cranking out emails. If I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
You heard it. That's exactly what entrepreneurs do, man. Nick Mulholland, man. No more salespeople.com. I love that name. I just got it right here printed in my brain, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, I thank you. And with that, we're out.